Living paycheck to paycheck sucks. Most of the times when you hear about living paycheck to paycheck, it's usually a younger generation, maybe closer to minimum wage. But I'm here to tell you today that was not the case. Paul and I were newly married. We were pretty much middle class income America, making it, in my opinion, a decent living. Yet he brought $50,000 of debt to the marriage from a previous divorce, and I was just trying to pay off some credit cards, plus a car payment, plus his car payment. It's the American dream, right? We could never get ahead. Every little thing that happened, we were set back. And it's added a lot of stress to our marriage and a lot of stress to ourselves. When I think about what type of emergencies cost $1,000, maybe you have a blowout on your tire, or it costs less than $1,000, excuse me. Your tire has a blowout or goes flat and it needs to be replaced. Maybe the washing machine needs to be repaired. Maybe not replaced, but it can be repaired. It still has a few years in it. These things maybe cost a few $100, $100, $200, $300. But when you're living through paycheck to paycheck, you don't have it. What's your option? It's an emergency. You put it on the credit card, which you're having trouble paying anyway. Mm-hmm. And it just grows. For those of you, some of you might know, I'm a huge Dave Ramsey fan, much to my husband's chagrin. He's drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid, but I'm all over the Kool-Aid. And one of the things I learned by listening to Dave Ramsey is that there's 3 ways to save money today, that you can start today. One of the baby step 1 is having $1,000 in emergency. That's it. It's just there in case something happens. You need to take an emergency trip for a funeral. All kinds of things. Life, right? Life is unpredictable. Here are 3 ways that you can save money today. Who likes garage sales? Who has stuff that they don't use, they don't need, and it's either collecting dust or it's at the back of the closet or in the garage? Have a garage sale. Your home will be less cluttered and you'll have extra money. That money goes directly into the emergency fund. I don't know if buying jewelry is a thing these days, but it used to be a really big thing. Do you know gold is at an all-time high and so is silver? Sell it. I don't know how much jewelry we all need, but if it's just sitting in a jewelry box or in a dresser drawer, sell it. Cash, cold hard cash can go towards that emergency fund. If you have jobs where you can work a little overtime, or maybe cross-train to ask for a promotion, just because you're earning X amount today doesn't mean you'll be earning X amount in a few months from now. And your job is the best way to earn that promotion. If that's not an option in your situation, maybe with the holidays coming up, a part-time job. Lots of opportunities. A little discomfort for a few months will pay off big in the coming years. Or maybe you have a hobby that can be turned into a little extra cash. These are just ideas. I'm sure, like I said, a little discomfort today or a little extra hours today would definitely help alleviate the stress further down the road. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but I've heard that a lot of people get big tax refunds. That is the wrong way to think about it. Right now, what you're doing is you're giving the government your money that you work for free to use. They don't pay you interest. They just give it back to you. Talk to your employer about fixing your deductibles in such a way to where it's pretty much a break even. You might get $100 at the end of the year or $200, but if you're getting thousands in a tax refund at the end of the year, it might be a good idea to talk to your employer. Another way to lower your bills, now that's adding cash to your pocket today. Another way would be to lower your bills. Maybe your car insurance, your home insurance, your renter's insurance. If you have whole life insurance, cancel it and buy term life. We don't need an extra savings account. We need money today to get through what you're going to get this emergency fund today. And there's lots of tax or financial planners you can talk to. And last but not least, develop a budget. Dave Ramsey is really big on saying every dollar. Know where every dollar goes. Just because you're on a budget doesn't mean that you're not going to spend any money. You have to spend money. Like I said, life happens. You have gas that you have to put in your car. You have food you have to put on the table. You're going to be eating out. This is an example of a line item budget that we put together. I can tell that it's not one of the early ones because I don't see child support in here. Woo woo! And I see a line item for bike upgrades. That wasn't on there in the beginning. But know where every dollar goes. I think that's where the rubber's going. That's where the rubber met the road with us. Is that once we understood where every single one of our dollars went during the month, during the week, we were able to cut back on spending. Once we developed that $1,000 emergency fund, our entire life changed. The emergencies didn't stop. Sometimes they were frequent, sometimes we'd go a few months without one, but you know what? We had the money to do it that day, and it didn't add stress to our life. Like I said, life is messy, it's very unpredictable, but stress is crippling. Now, who's in charge of that? You are. It's very empowering to understand that you can make a difference. I hope these ideas have sparked an interest. If this doesn't apply to you, that's great. I'm super excited for you. If you know anybody who might be struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, please share these ideas with them. Or they can go to iHeartRadio and download the podcast for Dave Ramsey. It literally changed our lives. Madam Toastmaster.